Hi, I've been getting a few questions on the YouTube channel in the last week about CVs and specifically about gap years or gaps in clinical experience. A bit like this one from Nazia. Hey there, do I need to explain career gaps in my resume? Well, I'm going to answer that question in this video. Hi there guys, I'm Dr. Anthony Llewellyn. I'm the Career Doctor. I'm here on YouTube, Facebook and LinkedIn to help you in your medical career. Basically a bit of a medical HR geek from down under in Australia. So welcome to the video. So this video is about gaps in your CV, and to answer the most critical question first, to not put you in any more suspense, yes, you do need to explain any gaps in your clinical experience, particularly after you've graduated from medical school. Primarily after you've graduated from medical school, because employers want to know why there might be a gap in your clinical experience. And we'll get into the reasons why that is throughout this video. But I just wanted to get that up front and out there. Yes, you do need to explain your gaps, but you don't need to do a lot. It really depends on the nature of your gap. And there's a number of reasons why you might have a gap. You might have taken some time off to study. You might have taken time off for personal reasons like having kids, or maybe you've got a dependent who's been sick. You might have been migrating between countries. They're probably the most common reasons I see. So it often depends on the nature of the gap as to what you say there. But let's just have a look at about how you actually do it within your CV. So I'm now here in the AdvanceMed CV Builder. This is a CV builder that you can get access to, by the way, if you are a client of mine. So if you want to work with me around your career profile, get some help in putting together your CV or resume. So this is my kind of dummy resume for Dr. Kate Jones, who's a senior resident medical officer, and she's now interested in surgical posts. So she's got on the career path for surgery. And you can see this is kind of a typical, the way I think you should, or I advise you to put your resume together. You want a personal career summary, then your work experience, you want your key credentials there. We've got our degrees, our medical registration, contact details, etc. So the question though is, where do I put this gap year business? So you put it in chronological order. So let's just say that Kate's only had 2 years of experience in this resume. So let's just say she actually had a gap year between an internship and her resident year. So we've got to do a little bit of fixing up here to make that look like it makes sense. Going to make that 2018 to 2019, and we probably need to point the degrees back a year or so. That one will go back to 2013. Yep, okay, so that makes a bit more sense. So let me just switch off notifications so we don't get any more of those little silly things. Took me a while to learn about the do not disturb function. I might edit that out of the video because there's a lot of stuff there anyway. So we've fixed that up to make it look sense from a year perspective. So let's say that Kate had a year off between her resident medical officer year and her intern year. I might just see if that, yeah, we can blow it up a bit. So the beauty of these CV builders, by the way, is you can just quickly put something in here. So you would just click on the plus button here. Now that one needs to go down there. So this is going to be 2019 to 20. Yes, so that's going to be 2019 to 20, and let's just say that Kate actually had that time off to have a baby. So you might write something like gap in clinical experience, clinical work, and all you really need to write is something like personal reasons or family. So you could just write personal reasons or family reasons. Now, a lot of you have probably heard me preach before about how it's really got nothing to do with the panel about your family and your personal life, and that's absolutely true. But you need to help them out a little bit. And so if an employer sees, because one of the first things they do is go through your work experience, and they run through the years and dates where you've been, and they kind of know where places are and kind of attach whether that was good or bad, etc. And they'll rapidly see that there might have been a few months off between jobs. And so what they'll be thinking there is something, did something untoward happen? Were you dismissed from a job? Was there a performance issue? Was there something else? And that's why you would never leave a gap hanging in your resume, because you don't want them to infer that there's something to be hidden here. So you just have to give them a bit of reason. If a person selecting or reviewing CVs sees that, they will understand what that means, and they will know that that's perfectly legitimate. They had time off for family reasons or personal reasons, whatever that might have been, and it's really no go zone to ask anything more about. So that's one way of approaching it. As I said, there are a few other ways I've often seen reasons why people have gap in experience. One is they might take time off because they want to do something, to study something, or do something they've wanted to do for some time. So let's say Kate had always wanted to volunteer in a developing country. You might actually then do a little bit more, because that's probably giving you something that is worthy of being mentioned in your resume and might sort of address some other skills that you have. And if the experience was really stellar and developed a lot of skills, you might even put something about it in your personal summary, maybe. So let's say she did go and volunteered abroad, 12-month stint with, I don't know, let's say Medicines, I always get this right, Médecins Sans Frontières, and Sans Frontiers, and like if it was Médecins Sans Frontières, she's probably very lucky. Since 2000 and when did she start uni? Since 2013, I had planned to spend a year volunteering abroad. I was lucky to be selected health liaison officer, because she obviously wasn't working in I don't know, whatever country. This experience, and this is where we go, experience allowed me to develop my communication skills, for example, skills as I was required, rapidly develop, and use it, etc., etc. So you can kind of talk about what capabilities and skills you got from it. So that might be like another thing. But again, let's say you just took 12 months off traveling, gap year, you just put 12 months traveling. And then the last reason I often see is because the doctors, migrated maybe particularly to Australia, and obviously they can't work in Australia straight off. And so obviously this wouldn't be the case of Kate, but maybe there's a period, you might just put migrating to Australia. During this time I migrated to Australia, and usually we'll put and prepared for the AMC exams, etc. But don't forget also that if you are an international doctor, and many international doctors watch my channel, it's most likely that you've been doing some work here. And so if you've been working here and there's not much of a gap, and the work obviously is not in medicine straight off, put that down. So, if it's say a security guard, security officer, you put that down. The company obviously, security or something like that. And so during this time I migrated to Australia, obtained a job as a security officer, prepared for the AMC exams, but then talk about some of the skills that you might have learnt or developed as that security officer in Australia. The key thing here is, and I see this time and time again from IMGs, they feel like it's a bad thing to put non-medical work down on your resume. That's not the case in Australia. The fact that you've worked for someone or somewhere in Australia, the fact that someone's seen fit to take you on as an employee, finds value in you, says something. It says that you are employable, that you can work within a team, that you can adjust to the Australian culture at the minimum, and may also have other skills from it. So include that. And then you don't really have a gap, because it's just other work that fits in between the medical work you did in the country you're from, and then hopefully the work that you are going to undertake in Australia. So that's how to talk about any gaps in your clinical experience on your resume. Remember, if you do want some help with your resume, I do have some services for that. I'll put a link in the description below. You can see how this CV Builder really helps you to concentrate on the content and not worry too much about the format of things, and just produce a really nice looking resume, which you can copy and do again and again and again and make adjustments to. So you might want to check that out. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.